Hey guys, it's Sarah with ExtremeTerrain.com, and today we have a review and install of the Axial LED reflector lights in clear, fitting your 18 and newer Jeep Wrangler JL, Rubicon, Sahara, or Moab models. These are perfect for the Jeep owner who wants to upgrade their existing reflectors in their factory bumper and wants an LED option that's going to give their Jeep some more visibility as well as style. These lights replace the existing reflectors with a more modern LED option that's going to give your Jeep some more aftermarket style to that factory bumper. They are constructed from clear polycarbonate lenses with injection molded black plastic housings and also include all the things needed to splice into your existing wiring. Alright, now one thing I did want to note about these lights is that they will require a bit of wiring in order to power them. However, this offers you the versatility of powering them however you like. You have several options here. What we did is we tapped into the daytime running lights by tapping into your license plate light. That means these will be on whenever your daytime running lights are on for the most versatility and also ease of install. You can also go to your brake lights, which means that these will be on whenever your brake light is illuminated. However, the choice is up to you. They do offer you that versatility to have them suit your needs. So as far as price goes, these come in at around $75, making them a budget-friendly way to add style and visibility to your Jeep. And as far as the install goes, I'm giving this one a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. They do feature a direct bolt-up installation to your factory bumper, but will require some wiring, as I said before. All in all, this can be done within 2 hours, so let's check out our install. For this install, we used a ratchet. You will also need 21, 18, 16, 8, and 7 millimeter sockets, a swivel extension as well as a regular extension, flathead screwdriver, trim panel removal tool, and you may also want some needle nose pliers and the included vampire clips and zip ties. All right, so we have our Jeep lifted in the air. You guys do not need a lift for this install, but we're gonna put it up so that you guys can get a better view at what we're doing. In addition, we've also removed the spare tire, again, just to give you a better view at this area for install. First step, grab an 8 millimeter socket and let's get those plastics off on each side of the bumper. With your 8 millimeter socket, you're gonna remove 3 bolts that hold on this plastic, the back of your wheel well. Repeat that for the next 2 bolts. Now we are using impact for these just because it makes it a little bit faster and we can fit the gun right up there. Then go ahead and remove this piece. All right, and now that that's removed, you're gonna repeat those steps to remove the plastic piece on the other side, and then we can disconnect the connector for the license plate lights. Now we're behind the plastic piece on the driver's side. What we're gonna do is disconnect this connector. Now to do this, you can pull back on this gray tab. You can do it by hand or with a small flathead. Just press back. Then you're gonna press down on that connector and remove it. All right, now with our plastic piece out of the way, we're looking at the area right behind it. We're gonna remove 2 bolts, these are 16s, on the outside of that bracket. Grab a 16 millimeter socket and let's get these out. Now with a 21 millimeter socket, we're gonna remove 2 bolts that hold on the bumper to the frame. Repeat that for the one above it. Now we're going to repeat that on the other side. Starting out with our 16 millimeter bolts on the outside. Now you may notice the frame side of this bumper on the driver's side looks a little bit different. Now there should be 2 bolts there. These both have to come out. They are 18s, but also on the bottom there's 2 more 18s and those have to be removed as well. Starting with the top one, with our 18mm socket, let's get this removed. Now you do want to be careful as we are removing these that your bumper is supported as we get down to the last few bolts. Now because we're missing that second bolt under there, we're going to move on to the 2 underneath. You will have to remove that to remove your bumper. Grab an 18mm socket and get these out. Now with all of the bolts removed out of the bumper, you can grab it and pull it straight back towards you to remove it off the Jeep. All right, now that we have our bumper removed from the Jeep, what we're gonna do is look into the openings on the other side of the reflectors and remove 2 7mm bolts. All right, now you can see the 7mm bolt that I was referring to. Now this is pretty deep in there, but with a 7mm socket and a swivel extension as well as a regular extension, you can get on that bolt and remove it. Now you can repeat that on the other side. All right, with the bolt out, we can now see the back of the reflector. And to remove this, we're gonna press down on the clip on the inside, and then also pry a bit on the front to fully release it. Using a flathead on the back side of this, you can press that clip in, and then with a trim tool, you can come in from the outside on the front of the bumper. Go ahead and pry it out. And then pull out towards you to remove it. Repeat that on the other side. All right, so now that we have the factory reflectors out of the bumper, we can take a look at our new lights here. Now these are exactly what they're called. They're traditional style reflector and they don't actually have any lighting in them. These will add some lighting to your bumper and add a little more aftermarket style in the process. So with that said, let's go ahead and finish up the install. All right, now the first step of our install is to feed the wires through the bumper. We're grabbing them out through the other side. And now that they are all the way through, what we're gonna do is line up this tab with the inside and then pop it in place. Now we can repeat that on the other side. Now we're going to replace these small bolts that go in the opening behind our light. Maybe a little bit hard to see, but we're just lining up this bolt and starting to get it threaded in. And once it's started, we have our 7mm socket with a swivel extension and an extension. We're gonna tighten it down. And repeat that on the other side. Now what I'm going to do is run the wiring through the bumper to the other side so I can join it up with the other light. Now you can run it through the bottom plastic of the bumper, but that is a little bit more involved. And as long as you have everything squared away and secured, it's fine wherever you run it. Now, just to give ourselves a little bit more room to work, I'm gonna unplug the license plate light connector. Just press down on the black tab and pull it out. Now we can see both of these wires, and we're gonna tap into these with the Vampire clips that they have included. Now this white and blue one is for power, and we're gonna start there. There is an opening on one of the sides of this Vampire clip. We're gonna line our wire up and slide it through the opening into that first opening on the Vampire clip. And then in the other opening, we're gonna attach our green wires, which are power. I've twisted the two together here. You're just gonna twirl so both wires go into one. Now you can hook these up individually, or you can do them together. It's completely up to you. And once that is through, you can start to push down on this metal clip a little bit and then close the Vampire clip. And I always like to grab a pair of needle nose pliers and just pinch down on it to ensure that we have a nice, good connection and we won't have any issues when we try to light them up. Now we'll repeat that for our ground wire. Ground wire through the opening. This is obviously the black one. We have our two ground wires twisted together, you two black wires. Same thing, slide it into the Vampire clip. Clip it in place, and then I give it another squeeze or two to ensure a good connection. Now you can go ahead and plug in the connector for your license plate light. Now at this point, what we're gonna do is wind up our wires and secure them into the bumper. They have included some zip ties here. I recommend using them to make sure they're away from anything that is moving or hot. And with our lights in place, we can line the bumper up back on the Jeep. Now with our bumper in place, we can reinstall the tow hook. I'm gonna start by putting in the 2 bolts on the bottom, just to hold this in place, and then I will line up the one up top. I'm gonna drive these in a little bit with an 18mm socket, but not tighten them down until I get the top bolt in. Now at this point, we can line up the top bolt. And once you have that bolt lined up, grab an 18mm socket. We have a ratchet here. You're going to go ahead and tighten it down. And if your Jeep does have this bolt, make sure you replace it. And then we're gonna tighten down these last 2 bolts under here with your 18mm socket. Now we're moving on to the other side. We're gonna replace both the bolts on the other side of the frame. And as you can see, there is some adjustment with your bumper. So if for some reason it's not sitting exactly where you want it, when you're done, you can adjust these bolts to adjust where it sits. And with your 21mm socket, go ahead and tighten these down. And now we're moving on to the outside bracket towards the edge of your bumper and replacing both of those 16mm bolts. With your 16mm socket, tighten these down. And repeat that on the other side. And now we can plug back in the main connector. Make sure you press down on the gray tab. Now that all of our bolts are in place and tightened down, we can reinstall the plastic covers. Go ahead and line them up. Thread your bolts in to each of the openings. And don't forget about the third one that's all the way up in this corner. Then with your 8mm socket, go ahead and tighten these all down. And make sure you repeat that on the other side. All right, now that both of our plastic covers are installed, that's gonna do it for the review and install of these lights. And remember, for all things Jeep, keep it at extremeterrain.com.